Hello and welcome to The Hero Spouse. I'm Kendra Ruth, here to answer one of your questions about marriage and midlife crisis. Today we have Kathy. Kathy has a bomb drop of March 15th, 2021, and a date of marriage of 2005. She has an off and on who is a high energy replayer. She says, my husband left and moved in with a violent alienator in July of 2021. He filed for divorce in 2022, but he never finalized it. He came to me homeless and suicidal, wanting to reconcile in April. He was in psych treatment from April to August. We were talking and texting every day during that time, building back a friendship, but we hadn't seen each other in person. Yesterday, I saw him for the first time. Yesterday was a couple days ago, because yesterday, I think it was about 2 days ago, in fact, so it was. And by the time this goes out, it'll be a few weeks, I think, from when I'm recording this. So, because I have quite a few videos. So, but let me get back. Yesterday he saw me. He told me how nervous he was to finally see me. He gave me a big hug. It went well. Then as we were getting ready to leave, he says he learned in treatment that he needs to be truthful. So he wanted me to know he started talking to someone a few weeks ago. What? A new alienator? So I assume he's still in replay? He has not followed up with the psych outpatient he's supposed to be doing. October 3rd is the next court date. He filed, but I did not, so he has to be the one to decide if it's dropped. The judge is going to force a decision because it's been 2 years. And now he stopped communicating with me again. How do I proceed? Okay, hold on. First, we were talking and texting every day, building back a friendship. Yesterday, you saw him for the first time. And then you say, now he stopped communicating with me. When you say, but you mean within 24 hours, you say now he stopped communicating. That's not enough time first for us to determine whether he stopped communicating. Okay, so I'm going to let that one slide for a little bit. Okay, so the next thing. He said he started talking to somebody. I think we both know that we're all going on. There's not even an assumption he meant that, I met someone. Okay, now first, he was really nervous to see you. It's very clear he really loves you and wants that. But at the same time, he is feeling, I don't know if the word is vulnerable. It's the only word I have right now because I wanted to say sensitive, but that doesn't feel right. I want to say vulnerable, but it's not vulnerable with you. It's vulnerable in the sense of medically fragile. Fragile might be more the word. Medically and mentally fragile. Coming out of having suicidal ideations. He's just gotten out of his treatment. Okay. And a full real relationship is really scary. And he just started talking to someone. Now he used the words talking to, or at least that's how you're referencing it. So what does that really mean, I wonder? And I like that he said, here's what I like. He said, he's supposed to be honest. I want him to have credit for that first, okay? And next, he said that. So then he said he's been talking to someone a few weeks ago. Don't go on and label it replay. Let's not label replay, okay? Get that out. I'm not going to say yes or no to that, okay? I don't like these assumptions where we say they have to be an escape and avoid if they have an alienator. Okay, especially with all of the other things that are going on with him, because we've gone over a few times, talked about his suicidal ideations, and I want to put that more up at the forefront right now, and that he's not following up with a psych out patient, but he's not following up with what he's supposed to be doing. So he needs to be. That's more important. But at the same time, he has to do it. You don't. You have to leave him to it. You don't nag him about it, that is on him. He has to do it. And you have to let it go. That is really important. It's really important that he does it, but what I'm saying is important that he does it and that you don't interfere. It's really hard, but you can't interfere. Okay. But I don't want you labeling it. I don't want you getting too much into it. He is very scared about you. He's very tentative about you. And talking to he used the words talking. I'm assuming because you used those words. He was talking to someone. Talking to someone is safe to him. He doesn't know how safe. He knows he's safe, and he doesn't know he's safe with you because he wants to be safe with you. But he was nervous. He's a little scared. He wants reassurance from you. But that it's like the big goal is this one, you. But there's not as much invested in this other. So if I'm just going to talk to this. And maybe, I don't know, what if he's talking to somebody else from rehab? Often people from rehab get together with people from rehab, which is why I say that. It's like, I could just talk to this person. I could just talk to them. I'm just going to talk to this other person that was in rehab with me. It's okay. It'll be okay. We're just talking. And you know what? We talked in group therapy. I'm just going to talk to them. And there's a safety in that. And he feels safe because he doesn't have an investment. And he doesn't have a goal as well. And he has a goal and an investment with you. And that scares him away from putting more into it with you because he's so afraid of what's going to happen. Sometimes when you have so much already invested, you're afraid of the risk. And he's afraid of taking the risk because he was afraid of he's already ruined so much of it. I know sometimes all of this counterintuitive stuff just doesn't make sense. You could just overanalyze it until you're paralyzed. But he doesn't know what to do. And so this other person feels safe. And it's this talk, isn't it? And he was honest with you. He feels safe because he doesn't have that. So you're assuming he's still in replay, but he didn't describe limerence. And we don't know what the other person's motives are. So that doesn't mean they're an alienating force on their end of it. I'm more concerned that he's not following up with the Psych Out Patient treatment. October 3rd is the next court date. He filed, but he didn't. He has to decide if it's dropped. The judge is going to force a decision. So how do you proceed? Okay, here's how you proceed. You don't proceed with him. The judge is going to force a decision. What does that mean? Does that mean that there's a decision by default? Does that how it's forced? The judge says default is yes. Or does that mean the judge forces him to show up and gets him there? I don't know. Because you have to show up probably, is what I mean. I mean, technically you probably don't have to, but you be there. And one thing you can do is, you know what? You can let him know, but you let him know once. Because don't smother mother, no nagging again. But you might want to let him know, hey, you know what? We have a court date on October 3rd. I'm going to be there. And you're the one who did this. You have to, I can't. The judge, you have to make the decision because you started it. I'm sorry. But you started it. So the judge is going to say that you have to be the one to make the decision to start or stop. So, so you aren't the one to proceed. Other than that, I'm going to tell you on the how do you proceed is you go to the court. You show up at court on the date that you're supposed to be there. That you plural. Okay. And just because whether you technically have to be there or not, show up. And you can have your say, this isn't what I want. He's not here. I don't know what that means yet. You can show that hasn't shown up for his treatments and things like that. If you can get a stay and have it continuance or some whatever those words are, maybe I don't know. If he is there, you can say, you know what, you need to make a decision. If you don't want to do this, if you want to continue it and say we don't have a decision right now or not, he has to make the decision. But the only person who can make that decision is you, because you started it. It isn't how to proceed. That question you have for me isn't up to you. I know you're asking in the other pieces of what do you do about him, but the real question is he has to make that decision, because how you proceed is you can't control his pieces. You can't control what he does regarding his outpatient treatment. He has to do it for himself. You don't. It doesn't mean he's in replay. It means he's scared, and you have to step back and let him come to you, and you're there, but you're not overly there for him. You have your life. You have your safety. You are a stable force, and you have a life. And he doesn't have to be a part of that life. But you're there for him. But you don't reach out, because he has to be able to fix himself. And if he calls you and you really think he's going to do something and he's pulling a trigger, you do call 911. That sort of thing, because you know he has suicidal ideations. But just poor meing him, or him poor meing, you have to leave him be. You have to let him. You have to say, you know what? If he makes threats that aren't in the moment, you have to say, you know what? I'll miss you. But you can't do that to us. You can't. I can't do that. I can't put up with that. I can't handle that burden. That's your cross to bear. I can't fix you. Okay? You can't fix him. You can't. Okay. Sorry. Hope this is helpful. And I will see everybody in the next question.